Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason Flame, board member with the Moorpark Chamber of Commerce, and excited to be back for another chamber chat with one of our amazing members. And let me introduce her. This is Kim Frankel, CEO and founder of ABACORP CNC Machine Parts, a Southern California manufacturing leader dedicated to precision, innovation, and American craftsmanship. With more than 3 decades of experience in the manufacturing industry, Kim has built a company known for quality, accountability, and developing people as much as products. As a mother of 5, community advocate, and champion for workforce development, she is passionate about creating opportunities for the next generation to thrive in skilled trades and advance manufacturing. Kim's story is one of leadership, resilience, and commitment to strengthening communities while helping keep American manufacturing strong. Kim, thanks for jumping on the show with me today and helping us learn a little bit more about you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So give me, well, first I have to ask, does ABACORP stand for something? Is that an acronym?
It is. It's an acronym that Rob and I came up with back in 1994 for some, side work we were doing at the time while we were working for other companies, trying to figure out what direction we were actually headed.
Okay. And what does it stand for?
It was all bookkeeping, complete operational, programming, accounting kind of thing. I can't remember off the top of my head. I wasn't prepared for that question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we weren't able to use that name actually when we incorporated the business in 1999 because it had the word corp in it. So we are actually known as well as A Better Effect, incorporated with a FBN in ABACORP.
Okay. Well, sorry for catching you off guard, but I keep looking at ABACORP. I'm like, it's got to stand for something, and I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to ask. But listen, tell me a little bit more about yourself that I didn't read there in the opening, and tell us a little bit more about the business and how things are going.
Things are going really well. We're really diverse in what we do. So our expertise in manufacturing comes on the side of steel, aluminum, brass, plastic type components across many different industries. There's many commercial markets as well as medical, space and defense, high performance automotive, commercial product with regards to motorcycle manufacturing, firearms manufacturing. So that kind of covers us.
And I know we're going to get into all of this, but how did this all get started? We're going back 3 decades now. How did everything get started?
Really, Rob and I were working for other people at the time, and again back in '94, I was doing bookkeeping and accounting and streamlining, getting companies up and operating on actual computers, as this was quite some time ago. And he was doing programming for other companies. He started in the industry back when he was about 14 years old in Chatsworth, just going door to door looking for a job. So he's a self-proclaimed engineer. And after we got together, we went to work for one of the manufacturing companies called Haas Automation, that is the equipment that we use today, and they're a manufacturer here in California. And from there, we just decided that it was time for us to branch off, and with their support and encouragement, that's what we did. That's how we started.
All right. Well, let's get to some of the questions that I know you were better prepared for. I should have put that in there. What does ABACORP stand for? You entered the manufacturing industry in 1990 and spent decades building ABACORP into a respected precision manufacturing company. What first attracted you to the manufacturing, and what has kept you passionate about it all these years?
What first drew me to manufacturing was growing up watching NASCAR, being involved in what it takes to build a race car. That hands-on exposure just lit something inside me from a really young age. And then Rob and I started this company because we genuinely believe that people deserve to be valued and appreciated. And we wanted the freedom to choose who we worked with, and then to define those relationships, what they look like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so race cars, like, was this always kind of a passion or a hobby or something that you were into?
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, I started going to Saga Speedway back when I was about 12 years old. And long about the time I was 14, got more involved. And by 16, I was hands-on. And coincidentally, Rob actually used to race at Saga Speedway as well. And with all that exposure over the many years, it's kind of what led me to work for my first manufacturing company when I was just 21.
Wow, how cool! And for people that don't know Saga Speedway, kind of explain like what that is, where that is.
Yeah, so Saga Speedway is used to be located in Santa Clarita before they became incorporated. And that's where they were all NASCAR sanctioned events. So I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with NASCAR and the oval track racing.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah, cool, very cool. Well, ABACORP serves industries where precision, quality, and reliability are critical. What are some of the leadership principles and systems you've put in place that allow your team to consistently deliver at such a high level?
Well, what we've done is we actually follow suit to a classification for space and defense called AS 9100. And that certification has given us the ability to really continuously grow and improve our environment and how we manufacture so that we can meet all of the quality that's necessary at that high level. And even with the industries that we serve that are not at that level, we're still adapting to that current structure because it keeps us organized and keeps us has complete traceability on how we're doing things.
So this sounds, for me, it sounds like there's a lot of moving parts and it can be very complicated, and all the things. When you started your business, I mean, how did you learn about all of these things? How did you learn about leadership? How did you learn about how to run the company? How did you learn about some of these strategies?
Wow, I mean, just hands-on experience, honestly. Excuse me. I just spent a lot of time just developing myself and exactly the type of leader that I would have appreciated having back in the day. Obviously, it's been many years, and it's always been a big challenge, especially in this industry being so male dominant. And traditionally, there's a lot of different mindsets from the different generations and how they would lead. And for me, it was a big challenge, but I spent a long time trying to figure out what would be authentically mine and how I would utilize my skill set. So I did go and get certified training in being a life coach, as well as doing much research, many different types of psychology classes, leadership classes, and just kind of feeding myself wherever I could and looking for mentors that uh, would appreciate what I was trying to do.
Well, and you mentioned that a couple times, learning how to treat people the way that you want to be treated and being appreciated. I have to ask, was there a situation where you worked for someone that you didn't feel appreciated, or you worked somewhere where the leadership was not very strong, and that's where this strong feeling of changing that came from?
100%. Everywhere I worked prior to starting my company. Obviously, I've always worked in male dominant industry, and it's definitely been a real struggle. But I see we're paving the way, this newer generation, and we're able to have perspective and hold our own into who our true self is in leadership. And there's a lot more that we know that so many others don't. And it's about having the perseverance and the fortitude to keep pushing forward with our ideals and what we know actually works and how to appreciate people, especially with the more present day mindset on mental health. Being able to understand what drives people, what leads them, what motivates them, and how they feel supported and grounded and a part of a team as opposed to just being an employee.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that. And that leads kind of into this next question that I sent to you was, as a woman-owned business leader in a traditionally male-dominated industry,
Mhm.
what specific challenges have you faced along the way, and what advice would you give to other women looking to build successful careers in manufacturing or skilled trades?
Um, yeah. So, what can I share with that? Honestly, walking into rooms where you're the only woman still happens today. early on, I felt that I had to work twice as hard to establish credibility. There were moments where my technical knowledge was questioned, where I had to prove myself before being taken seriously, and where I had to find my voice in environments that weren't always designed to include it. But one of the bigger challenges was learning to lead in a way that was, again, like authentically mine, and that there's a tendency, especially in women in male dominant industries, to feel they have to adopt a certain style of leadership to be respected. But what I found was the opposite. And the qualities that some people underestimate, empathy, relationship building, attention to detail, the ability to really listen, turned out to be some of my greatest strengths as a leader and as a business owner. So building a company in this industry also means like navigating those moments where I wasn't taken seriously, but you develop a thick skin, but more importantly, you develop discernment and learning to see who deserves a seat at your table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You know, I think back to when I was a younger martial artist. I had a female instructor in a male dominated industry. And you know, it just, for me, I just thought she was badass. Like, and she was tough and strong and had all these amazing qualities as a leader. And I can see what you're saying about, you know, maybe having to feel like you have to prove yourself, but like for her, it was great because all she had to do is kick someone in the face. And that was like automatically like, oh, wow, okay, she's good at this. But I can totally see that. But over the years in martial arts, you know, like I've gotten so used to training and working with and teaching women that like on the mat for me, like I don't see men and women, or I don't see black or white. I just see like martial arts students. And I think that that's kind of what you're talking about is looking at the person for who they are, what they have to offer, their special skill set, and their unique abilities. And I think that that's great that you're bringing that out in your team, as you said, not just, you know, your employees. You're deeply involved in workforce development and introducing young people to manufacturing careers. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about manufacturing today, and why should the next generation consider it as a career path?
Well, you're right. I am very passionate about workforce development because the future of the industry literally depends on it. So, manufacturing has a pipeline problem, and the experienced generation is retiring, and there's not enough young people who are being introduced to these careers early enough or in the right way. For me, this isn't just about filling seats in a shop, but it's about showing young people, especially those who may not see a traditional 4-year college path in their route, that there is an incredibly viable, rewarding, and well paying career waiting for them in manufacturing. And I've seen firsthand what a good manufacturing job does for a person's life because it builds confidence, it builds skill, it builds financial stability. And when I think about the legacy here that I want to leave, a big part of that is knowing that I helped open doors that some of these young people didn't even know existed.
When I was in high school, we had wood shop, we had metal shop, we had auto shop, we had all these shop classes. And now so many of these kids are not being exposed to it early. I grew up the son of my father built homes. He built custom homes. He started from landscape to roofing to the whole bit. And so I grew up in a home where like having a skilled trade was super important. And we're seeing more and more, like you said, more and more that kids are not being exposed to this or not. And both of my kids have gone to college, and I think college is great, but not everybody is college bound, and not everybody has is going to take that path. And we need people to do the things that you do, and we need plumbers and electricians, and we need people to have experience in these skilled trades. How can I mean, in your opinion, I'm just asking the question, like, how do we get this out there more? How do we promote this? You know, I wish that we could get them back, you know, classes like that in school. How can we do that?
I think that they're organically happening at this present time where we talk about homeschool communities, or even like the school districts are now trying to look back and go, oh, wait a second, enrichment courses where we're using ISA. students from Simi Valley High School were at Simi Valley Institute, which used to be Simi Valley Adult School. They have a machine shop program. So now they have about 12 high school students. And trying to promote, I'm, working with Moore Park High School and trying to connect with some of the middle schools and even all the way to as far as Ventura. Because the biggest misconception I wanted to touch on was like hearing constantly that manufacturing is like a dark, dirty, and dead end job. And just for the record, Rob and I don't have college degrees. Our children do, which is great, but we weren't on that same path. And right now we have 4 different generations working here in our shop. And we are always encouraging those high school students to come on down. You want to work with your hands. You want to get out there and actually experience the creative side of doing and building something. There is a lot of those students out there, and I feel like they're being more identified at the high school level. And so showing them these type of experiences and allowing them to come in, and I host tours all the time, and I always, advertise that I have an open door policy. I've had groups of homeschool students come in as young as elementary school, which is fun for them to walk through and see, like, this is exciting. But really the truth is that modern manufacturing it's a clean, technical and intellectually demanding environment. And so walking into a precision CNC shop, that you're going to see sophisticated computer controlled equipment, advanced metrology tools, high skilled people solving complex problems every single day. There isn't a day that goes by that we haven't solved 100 different problems in our shop. And we're only 17,000 square feet. I can only imagine the rest of the world. So that hands-on experience and problem-solving skills, critical thinking are really a lot of what they've been basing some of the core curriculum on for some time now, but not really understanding how to apply it. So being able to speak to educators is so good. Because it gives them the opportunity to see like, oh, well, this is what they're actually looking for. So I'm always willing to go in and speak to schools and speak to groups of students and speaking to counselors so that they can understand what's available here for those students that sometimes otherwise might be identified as problem students when they're really not. They really just need the opportunity to get up, to move their body, to use their brain in a different way other than memorizing textbook information.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that. And I hope that people are in Moore Park here listening to this so that they can take you up on that offer to continue to expose our students to this. So tell me, how has AI helped or hindered your industry with AI? There's you're solving problems every day, like you said. Does AI help make some of this easier for you?
It really does. It actually decreases the amount of time. So even if we only get basic information from it, like if we expand on our idea of the theory of what we think could be the actual problem. But in many cases, like right now, we're using machine monitoring software. And in that software, there's an AI element. So it's giving us back data so we can actually see what is our capacity, what is our utilization, what do we need to do to fine tune this particular job to make it more profitable so that we're not unnecessarily raising prices that the market can't afford to do or can't afford to take. Even if it's down to correspondence or looking for a certain type of tool. I mean, nobody wants to sit for hours in the deep dive of the internet trying to find a specific tool to cut a very specific angle on a type of metal. We ask AI, hey, we're looking for this to do this, and we need that. And even if it doesn't have the answer, it's opening up an opportunity for us to think outside the box more expediently, so it decreases the amount of downtime. So that's huge, along with how we're integrating other software that's also run by AI that's trying to help us get ahead of the game, or even see if something isn't feasible when we're doing the estimating process. We think we can cover this on this arena or this and this piece of equipment, only to find out we need to invest in this type of process.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do we do that the most cost effectively as fast as possible? So it has a lot of value, but it's not replacing people by any means. It's just opening up for me to do more.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Good stuff. So you often talk about manufacturing being about more than just making parts. It's about building people, preserving American craftsmanship, and strengthening communities. What legacy do you hope ABACORP and your leadership will leave for future generations?
The legacy I hope it leaves is one that's going to be built on three things: people, craftsmanship, and community. And so, first, the people. I want it to be said that we built a place where people grew, where someone could walk in the door without a lot of experience and leave years later with a career, a trade, a sense of pride in what they did, being a part of a team where they felt valued not just as an employee, but as a human being and a member of a world championship team. Um, if we did that consistently, if we genuinely changed the trajectory of what people's lives, then we did something that matters far beyond the number of purchase orders we received. The second, craftsmanship, there's a generation of American manufacturing knowledge and skill and pride that is seriously at risk of being lost. Um, the machinists who knew how to feel when a cut was right, or who understood the material, or who take personal ownership and intolerances that they hold, we must preserve that and pass it on. Every job we create stabilizes a family. Every young person we introduce to this trade in life redirected towards purpose and possibility. Every dollar that circulates through the strong local manufacturing business strengthens the community around it. So American manufacturing built the middle class, and I believe it can help rebuild it again if we lead with this type of intention and focus.
Wow, that's well thought out, and I so appreciate that. I think people tuning in, hearing about a machine shop, they're not thinking as deep into it. So I appreciate you giving us insight into your world and how you feel about your industry and what your industry can do for our community. So just a couple more questions for you. Why Moore Park? You guys have been here for a while. Why Moore Park?
Well, we started in Chatsworth. That's where we spent the first 27 years. And sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty, I think.
Yeah, it was clicking in and out. Maybe your AirPod may have died. Okay.
So we started in Chatsworth, and when we ran out of space and we needed to expand, we decided we would move to Moore Park. We were out exploring different areas, but we loved it out here, and it just felt like we were so much more space, so much greener, a nice cooler climate. And so our team followed us out, and we were really blessed, and we feel like this is a great place to continue to grow.
And why be a part of the Moore Park Chamber of Commerce? What has the Chamber of Commerce done for you, and what do you feel like you have to offer to the Moore Park Chamber of Commerce?
They've exposed me to a lot of other industries and individuals here in our community, and keeping the focus on a sense of if we take care of our community, our family close to here, then we're going to be able to do more outreach and tackle more communities and more areas where people need support. I feel like what I can contribute with that is continuing to create jobs and experiences and expose our youth to this wonderful opportunity in front of them.
That's amazing. That's very cool. Is there anything that we haven't talked about the business, or something that you'd like to let the community know, since we still have a little bit more time? So anything else that you'd like to let everybody know?
I'd just like to share that, as I said before, I have an open door policy, and I love the opportunity to bring in groups to go through and explore what we do and actually see firsthand. There's not a lot of places that do that. I don't know of any actually that do, but they really should. And being able to give that kind of understanding of what type of valuable career this actually is, and encourage those students, especially those community college students that are in school right now, to come out and take a look at what it would look like to work in manufacturing. Even if you're not working on the shop floor, there's still a lot of areas that have to be addressed, where we're talking about sales and estimating, administration, right? Higher levels of leadership and financial management. All of these areas can be taught in school to some degree. I think if they get to see it, they'll have a better goal and focus of what they're doing while they're in school as well.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that I've already learned so much more from you today, and I appreciate just your mindset of, growing people and contributing to the community and giving children, opportunities for other careers, and maybe if college is not in their path, having a skill and being involved in a trade is another option for them. I would love to hear more about you moving forward and helping get with the schools and see if we can get some classes back in school that give them that opportunity to do so. So thanks for everything you do. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the exposure and the opportunity to speak with you about it.
Of course, absolutely. And for all of you that are watching this live or will watch this later, please make sure to subscribe to Moorpark Chamber of Commerce on YouTube. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. But Kim, where can we follow you? Where can we follow ABACORP?
You can follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn, and that's the primary places to look for us.
Okay, cool. And Instagram is it just ABACORP? You can just search for
CNC. Yes.
ABACORP CNC. And then on LinkedIn, obviously, we could just find the company name. So make sure you guys follow them as well, learn more about what they have to offer. And if you have a young high school student or a young child that may be showing interest in this trade, maybe an opportunity to go to their shop and take advantage of that open door policy and learn a little bit more. I look forward to working with you more in the future with the Chamber of Commerce as you move forward and continue to grow. And once again, thank you everybody for watching the show today. We'll see you next week on Monday for another edition of the Chamber Chat. If you are a member of the Moorpark Chamber of Commerce, this is your opportunity to sign up to have one of these discussions. Tell us all about your business and about your background. And look forward to seeing everybody next time. Thanks again, Kim. Thank you for all your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Take care. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.